AI, you know it, I know it, we all know it, and it's been a topic that has been pretty heavy on this channel. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We talk about it all the time, but I can't help it. It's a lot of things that come out, a lot of important things, and a lot of silly things as well too. And this one is absolutely, I would say, it's kind of insane. The fact that we are at this point where someone is using this, especially someone as old as this, using AI in the most, I guess I wouldn't be surprised. I guess at this point, there's nothing that should surprise me. But you may have heard about recently, someone was in the courtroom and they used AI. Now, you might not know what AI was used for, but that's what I'm here for. I'm going to show you what it was. And we're going to go over it because it's so stupid.
May it please the court. I come here today a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Is this, hold on. Is that counsel for the case?
Oh, I generated that.
I'm sorry?
I generated that? That is not a real person.
At least he was honest, right? He was like, yeah, you know, why have a lawyer? Why pay for a real one? Who needs that anymore? AI can do it, right? Well, I mean, there's no other reason, you know, that's really what it is. Dude was like, who needs a real lawyer when you can just AI generate one? I mean, that's pretty much a sentiment when it comes to a lot of people who use AI that don't understand the reason why these fields even exist and why you need actual humans. They think that everything could just be AI generated. And this dude was like, hey, it's probably cheaper if I just generate it with AI and call it a day. Who's gonna care, right? Same thing. I mean, as long as it's saying what I needed to say and it sounds smart and it sounds intelligent, who cares? Also, I just want to add, looking back at this as I'm editing this video, I was looking at it. He was sitting there saying, may it please the court, a humble procedure. And it got cut off, but I'm pretty sure it'll say, a humble procedural generated AI lawyer is here to speak to you today about why my client is not guilty. Yeah, I was pretty sure what I was going to say, but as I was looking through it again, I just found it so funny. The way the video starts, it's so stupid.
Okay, it would have been nice to know that when you made your application. You did not tell me that, sir. I received the application. And you have appeared before this court and been able to testify verbally. In the past, you have gone to my clerk's office and held verbal conversations with our staff for over 30 minutes. Okay? I don't appreciate being misled.
I can't help but be a little bit fascinated the idea that someone decided to generate a lawyer and try to use it in court and thought that it was somehow just going to fly by. Granted, I'm pretty sure there are going to be cases in the future and probably in certain courtrooms where it might, you know, it might happen. You know, I'm not going to be surprised if it does because, I mean, everywhere is heading towards AI and it's going to get incorporated into everything. Just a matter of when, not if. And then if you have the right judges, then they might just say, hey, let's try it out. Let's see what happens with it. And that's probably what's going to take for it to become more normalized. But in this circumstance, at least from the way that the judge is alluding to, there are steps and procedures that you have to go through to even, you know, have something like this happen. And she is upset because, hey, you never even told her that you're going to have an AI judge or an AI lawyer. And because of that, it kind of caught them all off guard. And the thing is, she's pretty much alluding to like, hey, you would have told me that you had an AI lawyer. We're probably not going to allow it anyway. But you didn't even tell us that. You didn't have the courtesy to tell us because then now you're wasting my time and you're wasting your time because I could have told you ahead of time that we don't want this. And then you still went ahead with it anyways. And now you're just wasting everybody's time in the courtroom.
So either you are suffering from an ailment that prevents you from being able to articulate, or you don't. You are not going to use this courtroom as a launch for your business, sir. So if you are able to shut that off. If you want to have oral argument time, you may stand up and give it to me.
So that's where the clip ends, but there is some more information that's been added. I found an article that went over more in depth, sort of the aftermath of what happened with this, and just kind of giving a more in-depth explanation on what all went down. So I wanted to go over that, as well as explain another situation on why the idea of using an AI generated lawyer is a pretty bad idea overall. I mean, it should be pretty obvious why, but to put it simply, if you've ever used AI, then you know that it likes to hallucinate and it makes up a lot of things. And so whenever it tries to cite courses or cite cases and try to, reference things, it tends to reference a lot of cases that never even existed. But I'll go over that a little bit more later into this video. But first, we're going to actually go over this situation with the the AI lawyer. So it says right here, DeWald, who was appealing a lower court's ruling in a contract dispute with his former employer, a Massachusetts-based life insurance company, told Business Insider that he had intended for the avatar to look like him, but that he was having technical difficulties, so he opted for James, who is the guy that we saw right here. DeWald said, "I thought he was the best looking guy out there." Said DeWald, who explained that he couldn't afford a lawyer to take on his case, so he went pro SE and represented himself. James said that he was reciting a script that DeWald wrote himself. DeWald thought his argument would be better articulated by the AI avatar. DeWald said that the last time he delivered oral arguments in court, his presentation was completely ineffective. DeWald added, "I read from a script. I didn't look up. I didn't make any eye contact," he said. "I knew something had to be a lot different." And that DeWald was surprised by the level of resistance he received from the judges. He said, "I thought if we were going to get pushback, it would be a little bit more gentle than that." Are you delusional? Dog, you're like 74 years old. I would think you've lived long enough to understand why someone might be a little bit upset by this. You never notified anyone. You didn't follow proper procedures. So of course they're going to be upset. If the judge is expecting an actual a lawyer to show up and represent you, they want to see that. That's what they're hoping to see. They're not expecting to see, you say, "Hey, let me go grab my MacBook real quick. Let me go open up VLC player and click the play button so you can watch my attorney speak for me." No, that's not how it works, dog. And yeah, they're going to be rightfully upset because now you are trying to change the outcome or the way that this court case is going to play out when that is not what was agreed upon and that is not what they were led to believe. So yeah, it just seems so odd to really be surprised by that. I get it. Can't afford a lawyer in this situation. You feel like you're screwed and this is your only option, but this is not the way to go about it either. Continuing on, it says, after his court appearance, DeWald wrote apology letters to the judges. He says, "My intent was never to deceive, but rather to present my argument in the most efficient manner possible." He says, "I believe that a well-structured presentation would not only support more effective self-representation, but also increase court efficiency. However, I recognize that proper disclosure and transparency must always take precedence." Now, I've also seen some arguments from some people say, "Hey, you're allowed to represent yourself." Yeah, but that's not really representing yourself. First of all, that's not even the main issue that the judges have. I'm pretty sure they don't want AI to begin with. But the biggest issue is the fact that he never even disclosed it. That's what they were really upset by. Not the fact that he's represented himself and that he's using AI to be that representation, but the fact that he never even said that he was going to do this. And that's the biggest issue. Like, I don't know why people want to find all these different ways. "Oh, so you can't represent yourself now?" That's not what they're mad about, dog. Like, just think about it for 2 seconds and listen to what they are saying. Which is, yeah, true. You probably should have a lot more common decency when it comes to something like this. Again, call me harsh, call me rude, but again, the guy is literally right here. It says DeWald is a 74-year-old from Manhattan. You're 74 years old. This isn't your first day on the planet, let alone the internet. If you're 74 years old and you're using AI, then I would have to think you at least know your way at least somewhat on the internet to at least get that far. But yeah, I just thought that was wild. Again, this was another thing that was I was referring to earlier. Like right here, it says lawyers caught citing AI hallucinated cases, called a cautionary tale. It says the attorney filed court documents referencing 8 non-existent cases. They admitted it was a hallucination by an AI tool. So you can see right here, saying a court filed last week, Wyoming District Judge Kelly Rankin demanded the attorneys explain why they shouldn't be sanctioned or disciplined for citing made-up information, including referencing 8 non-existent cases. It says in a motion, Lamine filed by by the plaintiff's attorney in January, they cited multiple cases. A motion in limine is a pre-trial motion where attorneys request specific evidence or arguments be excluded from presentation during the trial that don't exist. So the cases are not identifiable by their Westlaw site, and the court cannot locate the district or Wyoming's cases by their case name in its local electronic court filing system. She demanded each of the attorneys provide a thorough explanation for how the motion and fake cases were generated and explain their role in drafting or supervising the motion. 4 days later, they responded, "Our internal artificial intelligence platform hallucinated the cases in question while assisting our attorney in drafting the motion in limine. This matter comes with great embarrassment and has prompted discussion and action regarding the training, implementation, and future use of artificial intelligence within our firm. This serves as a cautionary tale for our firm and all firms as we enter this new age of artificial intelligence, aka we thought this was going to be easy clap, get it done, have it do our job for us. We don't really have to put as much effort into it, and we call it a day. This is realistically just called being lazy, not caring. I mean, clearly you don't care about your job. This is a pretty serious thing to be a lawyer. I would take that pretty seriously, and to make sure that you're doing your due diligence for something that is as severe as this. But that's just me personally. Anyways, yeah. AI in the courtroom, I don't think that this is about to be taken off anytime soon. I would be surprised if it ever does. But wild times that we live in, right? I would say that, a couple of years ago, you would have told me this was going to be a situation that I would be talking about today. Wouldn't believe it. But yeah, AI in the courtroom, dog. Interesting stuff. Made this far into the video. So to give subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below what you think. Have a great day. Yeah.